Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just tuning in, we just witnessed a fantastic game.
Hang on a second.
Direwolves.
If you're just tuning in,
Whoa.
go back 50 minutes on the mod and just go watch the last game. I assume if you
can't
mean
turn
just tuning in, you mean that they missed out on the fact that that was a Direwolves victory, because that was an absolute cracker. I mean, that is probably the best domestic game we've seen played here in a very long time, Fish, and I hope that they just have another two of them in store. Don't care who wins.
Yeah, the goalie was completely in the Direwolves' favor for the entire match, but it was still so close between the two teams. But with that win, Direwolves straight into the grand finals. They've already touched on it on the desk quite a bit, but every game now matters for the Chiefs.
But every game still matters for the Direwolves, and I really mean that, because you want to go into a grand final just having 2-0'd the previous best team in Oceania. You want that title for yourself, and you really want to be able to stick it to the boys in blue.
Do it for Jubes, basically. Direwolves are good friends with
Don't
Sim.
give a damn about Jubes.
It's not do it for Brad anymore. It's do it for Jubes. This one matters for him. He'd finish as the top 3 teams in the OPL, but we're getting to Champion Select for game number 2 here. What are we going to see change? Because it's still the same picks and bans, so to speak. Galio, Rakan taken away, Elise being banned out.
I don't think we'll see anything change this time around, because the Chiefs have double counter pick now. They have counter pick top lane. They can pick Nara on red side, ban away Lucian and whatever the heck else they want. They can also choose to counter pick mid lane if they want as well. I mean, that's the way red side on Summoner's Rift works at the moment. So we'll see exactly what they go for.
Is there a world where we see Direwolves decide to first pick Lucian if they don't ban it out here?
No.
No?
No.
Maokai is the last ban here for the Direwolves.
That's a good ban. I think actually Spooks' Maokai. Even... Oh, Lulu's a good ban as well.
Lulu.
Spooks' Maokai actually exerted really good pressure even though he was behind. We saw the turret dive that picked them up 2 kills and a lot of the damage on the bottom lane turret. That's actually what got Raze rolling. Without those 2 kills, it certainly would have been much more one-sided for the Direwolves, and I don't think any other jungler could have really executed on that. I think it's a Gragas first pick, by the way. I'll stop talking in a second.
Let's see what the first pick is. Gragas locked in. Chiefs now get the response. Do we get the hyper carries themselves, or back to Kalista?
I think that they would be very happy to play another Tristana game. I personally think Kalista is better, just because you can have some more dynamic aggression in the bottom lane. Stop laughing about it.
It's a Wukong!
If you laugh at, don't feed the trolls, Fish. If you give them attention, they'll just keep doing it.
I am a troll. I need to be fed. Sejuani gets locked in for the Chiefs. That should be Spook's champion of choice.
Swiper has played it a couple of times.
True. Did get nerfed very heavily when it was a top lane dominant champion in the off season. Now, second pick for the Chiefs. They've already locked in their jungler. Typically, red side, you don't show too much unless your first 2 picks are AD carry and support. But they want Tristana for Raze again. Oh no, swapping out to Caitlyn as their pick of choice.
Interesting.
This is nerfed Caitlyn.
A little bit more setup required on Caitlyn nowadays, Fish. Still has a very good pushing laning phase.
Raze does run a very unique room page for his Caitlyn though.
Yeah, has all attack speed. Spoiler alert.
So effectively, the first nerf only reduces his attack speed now by 10%. They take Gnar and Ashe. King and Destiny did look very good on Ashe when it was
Do they run
very heavy
Janna
meta
with their
pick.
Caitlyn?
Potentially. Let's see what Chiefs decide to pick up. Very different team come from the Direwolves already.
If you run Janna, there's a potential they run a kill lane into you.
Ooh, Cassiopeia was left up, instantly locked in for Swiffer. Now they can just ban out whatever they don't want Swiffer to play into.
He doesn't care what he plays against Cassiopeia. Hint. Honestly doesn't care anymore. The one pick that you didn't used to like playing as Cassio was Syndra, and then Faker showed everyone that you can just build Abyssal Mask, and he was like, oh, that's matchup's even fine now. So I don't think that all that many mid laners will come out, and as I said, they don't want the kill lanes in bottom.
Zyra banned out, denying Ashe Zyra, which was a very strong bottom lane when Cloud9 first introduced it and has become very popular throughout the years.
Yep. Destiny's one of the better mage supports as well. I thought that Destiny's weakness actually was always playing tank supports, funnily enough. So I'm excited to see what will happen here. Getting rid of Rumble as well. Maybe they just run Shen into Gnar. That's not a bad matchup for Shen. He loses, but everyone loses into Gnar.
Unless you're a Lucian.
Apart from Lucian. Yeah, sorry, mate. Unless you're an 80 carry top lane, you lose.
Who knows? Swiper might pull it out. Blitzcrank, the ban from the Chiefs.
So the Chiefs want to run Janna, is what that tells me. You know, still going to be able to play something like Leona if you want a level 6 power spike, but you're just going to get shoved in incredibly hard. They've got rid of both supports that have pre-level 6 kill potential onto the Janna. Wonder if the Direwolves respected enough to pick Bandit away. There it is.
They do. Ban out Janna.
These coaches obviously know each other very well.
With the first pick in second rotation. Probably going to be a support pick.
Probably Morgana, I would say, wouldn't be too far askew.
That's lock-in for Ejim, so hiding Swiper's pick for last. Direwolves have to show their hand here. Mid lane and support up for grabs.
And Chippy said he is the undisputed best top laner in the OPL. He said that the gap that is between Swiper and everyone else still exists between him and Swiper. And they've left Swiper the 10th pick, counter pick, to try and come up against it. I think he's just going to pick Shen.
And it's only one ban thrown his way with 2 picks away from Swiper.
I mean, Maokai is also a top lane ban.
True. So 4.
He plays
You're going to throw Galio up there? No.
Yeah. Well, they have already.
So Destiny will pick up Taric as his support of choice.
This would be interesting. Pulling out Twisted Fate.
Against Swiffer.
Against Swiffer. Fantix is also an old school player.
Ooh.
That would make more sense.
Does he go for the Jace? Into the Cassio, but instead
Corki
defaults back to Corki.
Funnily enough, people ban Cassio when they want to play Corki.
Yep.
Fish.
Cassio
so he's
and
picked
Caslin.
the bad matchup. See whether he can get the 20 CS lead he had in game number 1.
Final pick for the Chiefs. Up against Gnar in the top lane. What does Big Swips pull out?
The Armored Titan. He said he's changed how he wants to play the game. He wants to be a carry. He wants to play things like Kled and Gnar, but he's going to be stuck on Shen, Fish. A travesty for Swiper fans everywhere.
Doesn't have the worst matchup into Gnar, but if Gnar ever gets ahead, that's good night top lane.
Certainly is. I hate playing this lane as both ends of it. Because if he ever lands a taunt on you early game as well, he hits you real hard.
Buff with the jump.
Do it. Just get out of there.
Good players jump more. But still, very different team compositions from both teams. No more hyper carry, so we shouldn't see heal on supports in this match.
We didn't out of Chiefs last match. Ejim took exhaust.
That's right.
Just thought I'd point that out.
Direwolves will change things around most likely. They've got initiation on King.
I mean, potentially if Raze had the barrier and Ejim had heal, he would have lived when he flashed in the last team fight.
Potentially.
Too soon?
Exhaust did work out quite well for them as well to deal with the Lucian diving into the back
It
lines.
certainly did. I'm absolutely throwing shade for the sake of throwing shade because I am a shit stirrer. So don't listen to anything I say.
We'll probably still get Ardent Sensor for Ejim in this match. He picked it up among other
I think
last
Destiny
game.
will still pick it up as
on
well.
the Taric?
Yep.
Okay, let's see if he does go for that.
Generally max heal out first on Taric at the moment.
Helps out with Ashe as well. Ashe does have an attack speed steroid in her own queue, so can be a little bit more hyper
Does it
carry.
give you attack speed?
Yeah, makes you shoot fast.
Really?
Real fast. Does more damage as well. You get focus.
Yeah, focus.
I hate the ability as well. I miss it when it used to actually just be your passive and you slowed people when your Q was
when
on.
you wanted to use mana, you put it on, and when you didn't want to use mana, you take it off. And then late game, you just always leave it on.
Your first auto attacking lane's always a crit, so people just run away from
Yes,
it.
the 100% crit Ashe. That was great. I used to play her as support.
Oh, no.
Crit damage Ashe. You just run up and shoot him once and hope that you've won the lane off that.
Oh, people are speculating that support Ashe is going to come back, Smon. What do you reckon?
You can actually
Ardent
run
Sensor Ashe.
Bond of Stone or Stoneborn Pact, whatever it's called, with Ardent Sensor. It's broken.
Hopefully, never want to see support Ashe in a competitive game. For now, though, let's check in with Serian, who's standing by with the Direwolves coach, Sharp.
Thanks, guys. I'm standing here with Sharp from the Direwolves. I want to start by talking about last game's draft. Even though it worked in your favour, what was the reasoning behind putting Lucian in the top lane when he had a good mid lane matchup against Orianna?
Yeah, we found that Lucian was quite an effective pick into Gnar. Historically, it's been something that, that style of carry top laner, it's been something that's worked really well for us. So we decided that having it top was just getting Chippies on something that's comfortable for him, and him being able to have the solo lane advantage is something that's really beneficial for us.
And there were a lot of support bans in this drafting phase. Do you have enough faith in Destiny's champion pool to be able to carry on Taric?
Yeah, I feel like the support meta at the moment is quite versatile. There's a lot of champs that you can actually play. You've got all the Ardent Sensor supports. You've also got the tankier supports out there. So we weren't really too worried about all the spots being taken off the board.
Well, best of luck in today's series, Sharp, and congratulations for getting locked into the grand
Thank
final.
you.
There you go. So it was the Gnar pick that prompted him to pick up Lucian top. So really good drafting coming out from Sharp so far.
Yeah, and I like his draft again this game. This time they're running a triple tank with Taric, which is always hard to play against if you're the Chiefs. As you can see from Raze, he attacks very slow, even though he runs a big attack speed page, Fish.
30%. Over 30% actually.
However, is still seeing some solo queue play, so I don't think the pick is dead. I thought it was going to be dead, buried, and gone, but maybe not. Swiffer still starts Corrupting Potion on Cassio, even after the mana nerfs.
So not to go for the ring like most other Cassios at the moment. I mean, when you have 650 range to start the game, highest range since everyone else's has been nerfed,
Yeah.
it's always going to be a strong pick.
Certainly is, as well as the push that comes out of your queue. He's running 23% attack speed, Raze, and you can see a little bit of a scuffle bottom lane. Ejim and King both trade some health there.
Okay, so 23% is not the full room page, not even full reds and quints, if I'm not wrong.
No, it is full reds and quints.
Ah, full reds and quints.
100%.
Cool. So from what I remember, I thought that would be 27.
Is it?
Should be blues only give you about a 1%, but
There we
Chippies
go.
has been jumped on top
And he's
lane.
going to go Mega. That's the worst feeling.
Lockdown. We'll be
Oh.
flashing out of this one.
Oh.
Surefire comes in, interrupts Spooks. Now fancies
They might get
chances
the kill here.
against him. Will get locked down, stunned up. Swiper gets good damage. Shern
Where's the
does
taunt?
have
3
flash.
seconds.
Chippies are going mini as well and doesn't even have to flash. Big play from Shernfire.
Certainly is. However, the wave is in a very good position right now. Cannon creep dies. Lots of creeps there to be soaked up for Swiper. So he's not all that upset about it. Also gets to keep his flash, whilst Chippies will have to burn his and teleport. So not the worst story for the Chiefs, but they certainly would have loved that first blood.
Certainly would. So close and clutch plays for both Chippies and Shernfire.
Yep.
Chippies knowing that his jungler would be there to back him up.
And look at Shern. Still, he goes in off the back end of that and takes away Spooks' chickens. And now he's going to take away his Krugs as well. Absolutely everything gone for Spooks in a second game of this best of 3.
Let's see how that's going to help out, because Shernfire already had big impact early on in game 1. Setting Spooks behind game 2, not going to be great for the Chiefs lineup.
So you're right, Fish. It is actually, he's running, I think, an 8E quit. 2.8 AD he has on it. Don't know exactly why I would go with that page.
And so opting away from the full attack speed is technically not worthwhile because your blues don't give you as much attack speed.
I don't think you should ever run it on your blues, but I certainly think you can run it on red.
Because there were a couple of 80 carries that would run
Here we go.
a bit. Misfortune was one a long time ago.
Ooh.
That's a route that lands straight on top of the 80 carry. King gets heal early, flashes away. One more auto. We'll be able to lock him down. And first blood's picked up by Ejim.
So across the board, the Chiefs are just actually starting to burn summoner spells. Shern is farming much better than Spooks. It is 8 CS to what, 25 nearly when he picks up this camp? But Spooks has been first to the gank every single time. And that is starting to hurt. See whether they go for a big play here, trying to keep it off the turret. With a miss poison, he's probably going to die.
A lot of damage from Fantix. One more Foss Bomb would be enough, but that's not up cooldown yet. You have to remember what this means for the Chiefs. Even if they come back and go 2-1, that puts them second place and a lot of pressure on the Direwolves. They've already lost the Chiefs once, and coming off of a gauntlet run that's only one game, if they win that decisively, that's basically a warm-up.
Oh, huge play out of Destiny.
Stops
Stops
Raze.
Raze's recall, which means King is now going to get back into this lane. He was 16 CS down. Massive play from the support of Direwolves.
Fantix also forces Swiffer out of lane. Both mid laners running cleanse in this match. He's going between turrets. Stops him again.
Yeah, I mean, it is a cannon creep wave, and Spooks is here. So we'll see exactly what comes of this.
Fantix will try and push this one out. Spooks wants to try and stop him. Not going to happen.
I mean, Spooks is trying to just keep the wave as even as possible, right? Don't think he really wants to tango.
Fantix will want to push this in. Spooks is trying to hold it off the turret for as long as he can. And a ranged minion crashes in first, so Spooks just says, you know what, this is mine, Swiffer.
Yep. And now he's going to potentially lose his chickens again. Spooks tries to move up and stop Fantix's recall now.
Ooh.
Manages to do so. So the back and forth, the do-si-do. Everything's happening on Summoner's Rift. Shern looking for a turret dive onto Swiper.
Level 4. Shen is just out of turret range. If Chippies can make this crash in time, it will be a dive. There he goes in. Body Bop connects as well as his full combo through the dodge field. Taunt does not. Swiper's recall gets delayed as well.
Gonna have to burn his TP to get back here, Fish. Is something that you can do on the Shen, so it's not the worst case scenario. However, still feels pretty bad.
Might walk after the whole wave just got killed. Let's see what he does.
Still TP.
Does end up TPing anyway.
You want to have pressure. And as Shen, you have pressure through your ultimate, so why would you hold on to it? Spooks has been spotted out here. Potentially can get ulted if you want.
Knocks King away from the turret here, which means first turret will fall to the Chiefs.
7-minute first turret, Fish.
And that's why you
Wonder
pick
if they
Caitlyn.
give it all to Raze.
This is the biggest reason to pick Caitlyn. A lot of the teams lower in the bracket in the OPL lose their turret as Caitlyn very early on, but you want to be taking it as soon as you can.
Yeah, certainly is the case. Obviously, you don't want to lose anything if you don't have to. Shern is in Spook's side of the jungle, so you can see Spooks takes some time to do some counter jungling into his own. See whether Shern sticks around for the camp. No, actually doesn't. So Spooks now is going to be big camps up on Shern, even though he's 54 CS to 16.
Ooh, that's a big CS lead. Would love to see if the gold has any implication. 2,100 down 3. It doesn't matter much. Just small camps picked up by Shern here and there.
It's just because he keeps farming his chickens. He goes from his chickens to Spooks' chickens, and everyone's chickens are just gone.
More chickens. They're the real losers here.
However, there is a little bit of a mental mind game that goes on with OPL junglers. They don't like it when their Raptor camps are taken. Fish. So I heard. That's a word on the street. Have to check in with Juves to see if that is actually the case. You can see blue buff handed over to Swiffer. We'll put Cassiopeia back to where her strength used to be. A potential dive coming in on bottom side, or Shern could just look for another little bit of counter jungling.
He wants the scrum. Puts a ward behind. That's a teleport ward. Not spotted out by the Chiefs. Was placed before the wave crashed. And Shernfire is level 6. We'll try and dodge Egan's, but no, he's already a ward there, so he can't dodge the vision.
Has also spotted out exactly where Spooks is, so they can still make the play if they want. However, I just think that making turret dive plays against Morgana Shen sounds a little bit dicey, Fish. However, with package as well as teleport on Gnar, certainly could work out.
Potentially. Let's see if they do decide to do anything about it.
But the Chiefs have a big gold advantage right now.
Yeah.
1,500 gold, yeah.
BF sword picked up for Raze to the double long sword complete for King. He's a level up over the Ashe.
Wonder if the Chiefs now use this tempo advantage off the bounce to go top lane. You can see that they're stacking top lane up very nicely, Fishery. Shen recalls. I think he should protect that wave. I don't think he should recall, although obviously wants the bottom lane. That's a huge wave stacking up. So if they get there and Chippy hasn't seen enough of it, but Chippy's raised it. I mean, this is just good League of Legends play. You can see that he's already auto-attacking them. He still wants the wave pretty neutral, but he just won't allow it to be such a big wave that it's going to kill his turret. And we'll see whether they swap back.
So, AD carry now top side of the map. Direwolves do swap their AD carry and support as well.
You can see the difference in stylistic choice. King goes back, gets himself Zerka Greaves as well as another dagger, which by my mathematical equation could have been a BF Swordfish. Chippy's actually waits in the wings. Shern is here. This could be a kill. Arrow misses.
And Chippy's was about to go mega, but Shern still wants to go in. There's the stand united. They break through the black shield. Chippy's bounces in, going mega now, but they've already killed Shern. Chippy's holding on to his ultimate.
Invulnerable.
Raze is very low, gets the invulnerability, flashes forward, but Raze flashes out of the Gnar. Chippy's is going to pay for that. Ace in the hole takes him down, and it's a disaster for the Direwolves.
Certainly is, and someone on the Chiefs is screaming behind us, Fish, very, very loudly. But what a play out of the Chiefs. Backs against the wall. They needed it to come out, and they've come up with the goods. Now looking to push in for another turret.
That turret should be falling. Let's see if Direwolves can put up a good defense. They do clear out the waves, so it's going to be difficult for the Chiefs to push for this one.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be. I think they should just give it over to Raze and actually reset the map one more time. Big play out of the Chiefs. They get the first little scuffle this game. However, King is very healthy, so they do need to make sure they don't overstay their welcome here.
Yep, no Ashe arrow though, and Ejim full mana. Be able to prevent them from engaging anymore.
Ejim has put this 8 times on at the moment, because he's hit nearly every single binding.
He's getting good damage down to Direwolves and making sure it's easier for Raze. He was whipping quite a few of them last match.
Yep. Shern being kicked out of Spooks' jungle for the first time, I think, this whole set. You can see that he doesn't want to give up vision control. He's been contesting all the chickens and actually dodged out on that play. So we'll
Shern,
have members rotating over.
Shern this game has gone for the AP jungle item.
Yeah.
That's Runic Echoes.
I think that's a
Hurts.
good move. However, Spooks wins a war of attrition. Everyone comes over into that area of the jungle. It makes you farm pretty quick, Fish, as you know. You can see that he's doing very well. They've now moved more members in here. Spooks has ulti. The Direwolves players are flirting with disaster right now.
Shern does have flash, so he can body slam combo Swiffer.
Yeah, flash body slam. Cleanse is there, but flash isn't, so it doesn't really do all that much at the moment for Swiffer. Of course, he takes that primarily for the Ash Arrow.
Now, Swiper has the proper items to go up against this Gnar. Dodge boots complete, Ninja Tabby's up with the Bramble Vest.
Dodge boots. How old are you, mate? Those boots have not given you dodge in a very long time, Fish.
Look, I played when Jax used to buy 5 of them. Stack up the non-unique passive of dodge.
Phantom Dancer. That's another binding. Any aggression you want. It has to stop there. King has, I mean, maybe it's an Ash thing. Maybe Ash just like has a, you know how we were talking about, you know, Ace of Spades, Cinder or whatever the heck it is, not doing any damage? Maybe Ash just has a passive called Safest Hands in the Freljord. We'll catch every skill shot.
So what you're
you throw
saying is
out.
it wasn't Blinky's fault.
It wasn't
all
Blinky's
that
fault.
time?
Yeah. And you gave him so much shit.
Hey!
Fish. Feel bad for
Me?
him.
I was defending the poor guy.
Meanwhile,
I did say a few mean things, but I was defending the poor guy.
solo laners of the Direwolves, if you would get back to this game, please, Fish, are up about 20 CS each. So even though the Chiefs are up 3,000 gold,
Don't you make me out to be the guy that
2,000 of it
sidetracked.
is on Raze and 1,000 of it is on Ejim.
So it's all in the bottom
it's
lane.
all in the bottom lane. Every skerrick of it.
300 lead in the mid lane for Fantix, whereas top and jungle are slightly in the Chiefs' favor. Jungle's actually dead even between the two at
The
the
problem
moment.
is, for both the Cassiopeia and the Corki, is that they're just free farming. And that's great if you're the Corki or the Cassiopeia. But for anyone else on the map, you're kind of frustrated that the two hyper carries are just sitting in mid lane free farming. Because if Cassiopeia ever gets rolling, Fish, her damage output is the highest in the game mathematically.
Certainly is.
Corki, on the other hand, if he gets 2 crits, generally kills you. So we'll be interested to see what happens. Spooks is in behind him.
Let's see if they can collapse. Fantix going to get charged on, flashes away, still has cleanse, will cleanse the ultimate and raise tanky turret.
Yeah. So they need to get out of that one. However, do force him back, and a creep wave is on the way. See whether they can get anything done here. Potentially Dragon will be the call instead.
Ardent Sensor was picked up by Ejim there. That's why Raze was able to heal so much.
Yep. Nice Ardent Source he picked up already into the game. The Chiefs members are not a fan of Ardent Sensor. I didn't get to talk to the Direwolves members about it, but I know that I was watching last game with them and they were like, that's just the meta, mate. Unfortunately for you, you're going to watch a lot of Ardent Sensor play. You can see that right now they're trying to defend Spooks' jungle a little bit. Shern disappeared into Fog of War and the Chiefs do back away. However, unfortunately for Spooks, his jungle is just getting pillaged by his teammate and the enemy jungler. He flashed for that!
He got it!
I don't think that's worth!
Surefire just styles on Spooks.
Why do you flash for that? It wasn't even Spooks.
It was Raze.
It was Raze.
Send him a message.
What message is it? We can't engage for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, precisely.
That is...
That was the John Cena theme starting right there.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. All right, you got the red buff. Moving on to the next thing. Imagine if you had Flash Shern. That would have been a
Unlucky.
kill.
Instead, Swiper taunts away. Direwolves should still be able to chip away at this turret.
Yeah, they should be able to pick it up. Swiper should just use this time to either go for a shop or get some vision.
The rest of the team to take Rift Herald.
Yeah, exactly right, Fishery. But the Direwolves have done a good job of getting themselves back into this game. You can see 30 CS is the lead for Chippies as well as that solo turret gold. Mid lane, it's going to be 30 CS as well for Corki. So the Chiefs have actually lost their gold lead.
So there's 1,000 total of their lead, but they do have Rift Herald, which Ejim's going to pick up here.
Yeah, potentially would be useful for breaking that mid lane outer. course, very infamous Rift Herald user Spooks does not get an opportunity to redeem himself today.
But a much quieter game than it was game one. Direwolves were making a lot of aggressive plays, and Chiefs were running straight into them.
Yep.
This match, very patient from two teams.
And you can see that the Chiefs were potentially looking for the mid lane, but nicely read from both Destiny and King. Take themselves there, and now they should just be able to slow down the pace a little bit.
So we get Bork Ash coming back from King.
Yep.
Opting not to go for the Infinity Edge double zeal.
See what happens here. Shern's pretty squishy. We already mentioned it.
Oh, jump on top of him. That's petrifying gaze as well as Ejim flashing for the binding as well. He's stuck on the Miasma and can't move. Swiffer flashes in for that. Spooks takes the kill.
Yeah, and see now whether they can use that time to set up the Rift Herald. Here it goes, and with a charge coming out, should be enough to break down this outer.
And a pick as well on top of that. Fancy's just trying to work on top lane outer. Chippies isn't there, and that's a teleport from Swiper to defend the turret. Chiefs could push through, especially with Stand United up.
Yeah, see whether they can keep pushing here. You can see Fantix is putting in a lot of effort to try and take down this turret.
That turret taking the beating from Rift Herald. Ray's be
Oh,
able to push
purple
through.
claws as well. Fantix is not to be trifled with, however, Fish.
So he will probably get a turret
2 for
trade,
1,
but
yep.
2 for 1 in favor of the Chiefs.
As well as the fact that the Chiefs got the kill on Shern. Remember, that's how all of this started up. And Fantix actually, respecting the rotation, is not going to kill the turret. Potentially creeps will, but Razor's heading up there already.
Come on, get him. Oh no, Fantix, let them do it. Oh, he wants the gold.
Does the smart thing. Waited long enough. Knew that the Chiefs weren't making a beeline up there.
So, 2,000 gold lead for the Chiefs off the back of that play. Raze will collect this wave. Has Infinity Edge as well as a Zeal complete. Rod of Ages and Tears stacking up for Swiffer. That's a straight Thornmail rush for Swiper.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, he has a Balmy Cinder as well, so he's going to have a little bit of health there. But certainly cannot go toe-to-toe right now with Chippies. Wonder if he does get a Tiamat at any stage in this game, Fish, or whether he just sticks with the pure tank route.
Barmies should be his wave clear, so to speak, for now.
Yep.
But he's not afraid of Fantix's damage so far. And with the build he's going for. Yes, it does, you know, Thornmail as well as Ninja Tabby does help against Fantix, but not as much. Ooh, almost.
Grazed deep buttocks, and I think that's the first one that's missed all game.
That's cool. When the binding, you know, travels the full
Fizzles.
distance, all the bats come out.
Yep.
That's cool.
I wonder who wins a 5v5 team fight right now. You can see how far ahead Caitlyn is, however, hasn't shopped in a while. About a minute up on Dragon Fishery.
Do you think it'd be decided by who the Ash Arrow hits? Let's say they catch out Swiffer here, Venara.
Nah, I don't think so. I think that Raze has got an extra 2,200 gold.
Probably.
So as long as he is alive, they're fine.
Problem is, 1,500 sitting in his back pocket.
That's what I said. He hasn't shopped in a very long time. He needs to get back. Mustn't be an Infernal Dragon, otherwise he would be pushing a shop right now.
Minute till that's up. Baron comes up in 15.
Is an Infernal Dragon, so I have no idea what's going on. You don't want to fight for an Infernal Dragon with that much gold in your 80 carries pockets.
Swiper does have Stand United. Chippies has his own teleport.
Yep.
Dragon's up to 45. Good taunt. Nars him back.
Actually, that's really weird out of Chippies because he's losing the one-on-one, and now he won't have that for the team fight that's about to take place. That's going to reset most likely. No, he got it.
Perfect player.
Certainly is.
Never doubted
He
it.
is much better than I am.
So if we're going toe-to-toe against Fantix. Fantix wins the poke war there, but there are a lot of melons for him to take.
Yep. So Swiffle will just go back around. You can see that it's the Direwolves with the Scuttle Crab right now. And the big problem is that it looks like Swiper somehow is winning the one-on-one top lane. So, yeah.
He's going Mega again,
We'll
so
go
Swiper
Mega
will
again,
fight
okay.
him. I think Swiper will fight him here, because that's no stun.
I don't think so.
Jump on his face, Swiper.
Nah. Just pick it up at the turret. They're going to get position over this, and because Raze hasn't shopped, I think that this is a dangerous team fight for the Chiefs to take, although Fantix...
Spooks whiffs the ultimate. Fantix should be able to Valk over here, gets away. They've started up Infernal Dragon.
Yeah, but now how does Fantix get back in? Has to come around the long way without the ulti out of Spooks. This is very risky.
Teleport's coming in. Swiper still has Stand United. Arrow connects on Switch.
Oh.
Great Black Shield from Ejim. Stops it, but Raze has been separated from the team. Good damage on Chippies. Swiper now joins the fight. It's a big 5-on-5 brawl. Ultimate's down for both teams. Chiefs are kiting away. Swiper the one that's in trouble. Spook's taking good damage. Well, Black Shield this time a little bit too slow, but good exhaust. Ejim goes in for the ultimate. Immediately has to jump back out. There's Chippies whiffing the Gnar. Good flash from Ejim, and both teams reset without a single kill.
Yeah, very nice team fight from both teams. It looked like the Chiefs just had to get out because that's about 2,500 gold on Raze right now. I mean, he is so rich and hasn't spent any of it, Fish. And the Chiefs still were able to navigate it. Their whole gold lead was actually just sitting in Raze's back pocket.
He just picked up a full Hurricane for himself. Got the Zeal complete as well on the back of that.
Yeah, different build coming out of Raze.
So Hurricane doesn't help Caitlyn out as much anymore, but if you are an Infinity Edge user, it still gives you more damage on your bolts.
Yep, certainly does.
But opting not to go for the Static Shiv Rapid Fire
Cannon, yeah.
That's strange.
It is strange. In saying that, what was even more strange is that Chippies has whiffed 2 out of 2 Gnar ultis. He used one top lane. Ooh, Fantix and Spooks. Bit of a tango.
Spooks can't decide which way he wants to run.
Not towards Fantix. I'm going to tell you that right now, Spooks. But yeah, that was another really bad Gnar ultimate. He's up in 60 CS. He looks like he's going to be able to win the split pushing battle. But it looks like as far as the team fights goes, not as comfortable as the Armored Titan on the Gnar pickup.
At least he got Ejim's flash for that.
Is that really what you want out of a 5v5 team fight Gnar ult, the support flash?
I mean, consolation prize. Better than nothing.
Eventually could have engaged onto Shern there. He has got magic jungle item in the Runic Echoes. Once again, they're just going to catch him. Nah, fine misses. And potentially they just know that this is going to become a wave clear battle, and they want the help on the wave clear. Swiper, pretty disciplined, is just waiting underneath turret for the wave to come.
Hurricane also does give you the most movement speed out of all the Zeal items.
Does
Maybe
it?
there's that too. Yeah, it gives you 7%, whereas in all the 5%.
Oh, they need to get off this, Chiefs. They're in big trouble here.
Good binding. They try and lock down Shern and kill him through
Got him.
the ultimate of Destiny. Right before the sunglasses fell down, they get the pick. Now Jungler is dead for the Direwolves.
Yeah, and they have already rotated over Swiper through the teleport. They're very low still, Fish, and there is some good AoE damage. But the Direwolves, they respect it enough. They back away, and Chiefs get Baron.
3,000 gold lead. Chippies is working on bottom lane in a turret. Might be able to pick it up for himself, but the Chiefs are decisive in game number 2 here.
They certainly are. 0-5. This is pretty clean play out of the Chiefs. With the arrival of the Baron up creeps, Chippies knows that he has to say adieu.
But they're finishing off the regular split of the OPL the same way it started, which was a very close series between Direwolves and the Chiefs. The first game we saw, Direwolves did pick up the 2-1. It was a very commanding start to their dominant split in the OPL.
And Phantom Dancer is the next pickup. So Raze, he just wants to be turret mode. I wonder if he gets a third one.
That's
You know, he
strange.
lost a full Phantom Dancer in attack speed. She did, sorry. Maybe you can make that up by just grabbing yourself a static Shiv on top of all this. Here we go.
Put you at
Shern
110%
potentially caught
crit.
out. They don't go for it. I think they will go for it, however.
One more tick of the passive. Not going to be able to get it. Binding! Bats! Nothing. But with Baron buff, they'll continue pushing. King is caught topside the map, so he's only just recalling. Raze is just hitting this turret. Double binding. Everything thrown at Shernfire's way. And where did he go?
Shern, what are you doing? Just a blunder from the jungler of Direwolves, and he
He's had a
is
bad game.
0-4-0 Fish.
He's had a very bad game, Shernfire. Started off with a great counter gank, saved Chippy's life. But since then, it's just fallen from grace. 0-4-0.
Yeah, and the Chiefs are just absolutely crushing the Direwolves at the moment. What was a close game after that Baron play has now completely deteriorated.
And that's a message. That's a statement. You might be in the grand finals, but we can still contest you in these series.
Yeah, exactly right. The Chiefs will have another best of 5 to play. Up until last split, that didn't really matter for the Chiefs. You could have put them in as many best of 5s as you wanted, and you would have picked them to win them all. The Direwolves have certainly changed that.
I wish Juice was still in this room, though. I'd like to see how much he's still trying to cheer for the Direwolves to get their win here.
I think you're just cheering for good League of Legends at this point, aren't you, Fish?
I am. Probably not Juice. Juice wants Direwolves to win in any way, shape, or form they can. Because a win here for the Chiefs puts them at 4th. And unfortunately for Sin, they've had a really good latter half of the split.
Sin have actually, I mean, this game withstanding, until I had seen this game, I would have said Sin was probably the informed team to come in. As Raze might have caught out top lane.
Oh,
Nope,
close.
just got out. Yeah, Sin had looked fantastic. Spooks even wins that, and now Shern gets tagged up.
Raze can make his way down as well.
I mean-
Spooks can stun lock him.
Yeah, this is going to take a while, but
Ultimate from Ejim as well. Shernfire forced to flash, throws out his own ultimate. Ejim comes through with it, binding over the wall. Not going to be enough. Can Raze get their time?
Oh, he flashes on him.
for it, gets it. Fantix wants the brawl. Not going to happen, buddy. Takes so much damage. Even the Doctor himself has been called into the top lane.
that is so funny. You flash my red buff, I will flash to kill you, says Raze. A message definitely sent in reverse there, and the Chiefs now looking to break the base in a second position by only 27 minutes.
An eye for an eye has left the Wolfpack blind as the Chiefs will take the second inhibitor turret. Swiffer is split pushing mid lane to take one himself. Top lane, that falls. Chiefs can now collapse. They lock down Fantix. He'll get
Big
double
taunt.
stun locks. Raze is solo killing Chippies. Fantix falls before Destiny's ultimate. King is stuck. Petrifying Gaze turns them to stone. And just like the hearts of the Chiefs members, they're going to try and crush the Direwolves in game 2.
And it looks like they're going to be able to do it. Both the attack damage carries are dead. 27 minutes in, Baron buff is gone, but the Chiefs are on the Nexus turret.
30 seconds for both carries of the Direwolves to come back up. Not enough time. Chippies, Destiny, and Shernfire have to put up a miracle of a play to stop this. Turret is going to fall. Raze is so healthy that he just slowly but surely chips away at the Nexus. No last stand from the Direwolves. There are too many minions in this space, and it's over. Game 2 is decisively in the Chiefs' favor.
And Spooks is fired up, even if Swiffer isn't. A couple of Let's Go boys behind us to close out that game. That man on your screen, Quinny is a very good League of Legends player. I said that when the Chiefs picked him up last year, it was the first franchise player pickup. In saying that, he was a 17-year-old kid, New Zealander, never moved out of home before. They bring him into the gaming house, and he is getting very, very good at the moment, Fish. Since then, we've had people like Ryoma, FBI, come through, but the young man from New Zealand stepping up in game number 2. That was an 8-minute bottom lane turret, and from that point, what was he, 5,000 gold ahead of King?
At one point he was 2,500 ahead but hadn't shopped, and then once he got the full Hurricane Perch, it's all over. We saw Shern firing the screen as well. He did not have a good game.
Certainly did not. But at the same time, Direwolves have to just think that that was only one game. Snowballed through the bottom lane, and that back on red side is certainly where the Direwolves have looked the most comfortable. Red side drafts for Direwolves are key in getting Fantix and Chippies good matchups. Fantix still looked good in that game, but Chippies on Gnar looked all out of sorts.
And now one game for the Chiefs decides if they dodge an entire best-of-5 series and potentially don't have to play against either AV or Sin, depending on how the gauntlet goes.
No, I mean, if they win this game now, they come second. So they don't have to play against, the
they play
big
against
elimination.
Legacy versus X.
Yeah.
Whoever wins that.
Whoever wins that, which is getting rid of both AV and then Legacy or, AV/Sin, that's huge.
It certainly is. But to break down that game a little bit further before we go into the final match of regular split, let's send it back to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Chiefs
able to...
Locked in.
Well, just let me finish. Chiefs able to tie up the series, and Jizz, obviously commiserations to you, because as you said, you were locked into 4th now. But put on a brave face, because now we get to see the Sin run the gauntlet. Baby!
I'm not excited about that.
That's
Split
fine.
2.
As a
Split
viewer,
2.
as a viewer,
I'm not
I am.
excited about
As
it.
a viewer, I am
You did
very
it once,
excited.
do it again. You know?
I have no words for that series. This is the first time I've ever seen a jungler flash for a red buff. Ever.
Yeah. Oh, no. No. Carbon did it with Nunu. He flashed over a wall to consume it, and then he walked out.
And what happened?
Did you guys win that game?
I don't remember. I
They got-
I just
no,
remember
It
everyone.
was against Scan, Gigabyte Marines.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It
but
was
like-
in
but
Rift
like-
Rivals. International.
Was that trolling or not? I actually don't understand why you would flash for a red buff. And it ultimately, it just led to the Baron.
It resulted. Yeah, it did snowball really bad for them. He ended up running and getting binded by Ejim into Cassio ult, and then off getting picked again. They did Baron, and that was really what lost them the game. So, really questionable performance coming out of Shernfire.
Yes. Let's start by talking about the draft, though, before we get into these replays, because I feel like Chiefs had a very clear game plan going into this game, right? It's like we pick Caitlyn, you got to get you want to get that first tower,
Yeah.
and they did that. So that's their kind of set up the game to play how they want.
Yeah, Caitlyn will probably still the strongest laner in 80 carries, and they did it really well. They got a 7-minute tower, a really
Very
nice
quick tower.
This is a good game because you saw Spooks not be put behind early. He had a relatively good early game, came bot, secured first blood onto Ashe, killed the Ashe, and then off that they took first tower, and then they rotated top. But then there was an interesting play that Direwolves tried to make to get back into the game.
Yeah, just a really, I guess, unfortunate execution.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. It's like a popular play you tend to do these days, but essentially, Chippies was in the top lane waiting for his team because he knew that when Caitlyn does take bot tower, he rotates top and then he tries to get tier 1, and then off that he can snowball their gold advantage. But Direwolves weren't able to pull that one off, and then ended up losing it for them. But yeah, the arrow meshes. Chippies has been waiting this entire time. Shen ult obviously helps out a fair bit. Fire gets locked down, immediately taken out. Chippies is too deep. The Black Shields coming out of Morgana in both series have done so much work. A good flash out of Raze to live. Chippies goes down, and a good Valkyrie coming out of Fantix gets him away from Swiffer's flash ultimate. But this secures Chiefs really their first, it was really nice of them to rotate top out of taking a 7-minute bot tower, but also to execute that play was really nice, but it was poorly executed by Direwolves.
Yeah, everyone on Chiefs played that, I think, as well as they could. Yeah, so everyone on Chiefs played that as well as they could, and I think everyone on Direwolves played that as poorly as they could, in a weird way.
Yeah.
It was really
no.
forced, forced.
The arrow missing was just really
Once
unfortunate.
arrow misses
it was
there,
once
I
arrow
think-
misses, that's where you call it
Yeah.
off. That's what it's a hard call to make.
An Ashe arrow missing like that is just such a metaphor, though, as well. You just watch it sail by, like you
Yeah.
watch the game
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
Games on the arrow
mean,
like
yeah.
this. The
can
game was
see,
probably
like, they-
on the flash at Red Buff too, though.
They
but-
made the call, like, we're going to do this. We've Ashe. Ashe is probably one of the best 80 carries because you have the ultimate thrown down the lane. But as soon as that misses, you need to realize, okay, we can't do this anymore. We miss out on Gage. All the CC missed. Raze was out of there. Still had flash, and that was a poorly executed play.
Yeah. Now, Jivs, you obviously had a lot riding on this game in particular. So, backstage, you were getting very, very emotional. And you've already said some words about Shen, but
Yeah.
I feel like you've got more,
Well-
more stored up that you want to...
It's hard to...
No.
Like, if I'm not... Putting what was at stake for me aside, no, like
No. Oh, yeah.
putting it aside, like it's done. What's done is done. That is probably the worst series I've seen Shen play ever. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm just watching from a jungle perspective as to what he's done, Shen was constantly getting caught, right, all game, just binding after binding, not respecting enemy vision, and then he was just constantly getting caught. And this one was just the icing on the cake. So this one here, again, when you're 0-4-0, you can't just be blindly flash checking vision. Look where the rest of your team is. You got Taric recalling at red buff. Ashe isn't even there. Corki's not there. You burn so much to stay alive, and then ultimately you die. Then you burn Corki's summoners to stay alive, and then Corki just gets chunked out. And that pick alone just led to a mid inhib and a top inhib. So, but it wasn't just like it wasn't just like a one-off. It was like a culmination of here, okay, we got away with one kill here, then happened again. Just there was no learning curve in that game.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. You don't ever really want to say this, but Schoenfire really put his team behind, and I don't want to say single-handedly lost them the game, but
It wasn't single-handedly.
No, definitely not. But as you said, burn the summoners as a team. Fantix came and tried to save his jungler, wasn't able to. Schoenfire just wasn't respecting Chiefs' advantage and still kept playing as if the game was even.
You know, before we went into this second game, we did talk a lot about Chiefs' mentality. And we said, look, they've got to reset. They've got to really look forward.
Exact same
you know.
thing.
But for Direwolves, right, going into game 2, they felt like obviously the pressure's off. They've already taken that minor Premier's mantle then. And so going to game 2, I'm not saying that they were trolling. I'm not suggesting anything like that. But I'm just saying if you don't have that hunger that the Chiefs would have because they have everything to play for still, they're still trying to get that second spot. You know, obviously it can lead to some sloppy play.
There's no reason for them to be hungry for this win. They're content with where they are. What they can really just take from this game is just practice going into... I mean, they're going to be sitting in their gaming house for the next 2 weeks. You know, like they're
7
waiting.
years.
They're waiting in the grand final. So like they've already done what needs to be accomplished. They're just going to try and get good practice against Chiefs at the moment on stage.
Yeah, so then you look to Game 3. For Chiefs, again, if they can win this Game 3, they can finish as high as second. If they lose it, they go third, and Legacy takes second. So
The
obviously,
only real difference is Legacy and Chiefs going second, third. So
yeah,
obviously,
so everything's on the line for Choose here now.
Reyes actually popped off this game.
Oh, mate.
He look at his damage though. Also, shout out to Fantix. He won a counter matchup.
Yeah,
really hard.
That is something I like to
Really
point out as
hard.
well. Yeah, that's a rough matchup. He
Yeah.
picked it into.
He was
picked,
winning lane
picked
early
into
as well.
it. Yeah, he never really fell behind.
But
and
Ultimately, I think that what damage. I mean, the damage graph doesn't show this. I think the MVP in this game was Ejim.
Ejim, definitely.
Ejim's
Mate,
blindings, black shield, and just overall positioning, like to be able to help help his carries was insane. So yeah, that
Every
was a really
pick
good
on
performance.
Shernfire was off the back of a nice binding.
Yep.
So this is something Direwolves need to consider going into the next game.
So it's interesting for Direwolves then, as they go into the next game. Do they ban out the Morgana and leave open Rakan? Because Ejim's Rakan's also, you know.
It almost feels like a
It's-
waste of a ban, like banning Morgana. It's just not. It's
It's
not
so
considered.
it's so out of, I mean, there was 6 support bans
Yeah.
last game, and they
Yeah.
forced Destiny onto Tarek.
Tarek.
And Tarek is
No one
dread-
wants to play Tarek.
Tarek, I mean, yeah, you do. Tarek's alright.
Tarek's good.
I hate
I
Tarek.
love Tarek. Tarek's
I hate
fine.
him.
Tarek,
5-man Ardent Sensor. It's all about Ardent Sensor, boys.
but Tarek into Morgana is not a good matchup.
Yeah.
Like, your
But-
stun is useless, and yeah, they really just. I mean, 7-minute tower, like. That pretty much just sums up the matchup. Ejim on this champion has done so much work. I praised him in the last game. I praised him again this game. They definitely need to look at taking this one away or banning it.
Yeah, I think if you're not it's one of those confidence things. Like if you've shown throughout the series you can't dodge bindings. Like you can't dodge the bindings. Like A, that player's playing really well. B, you're just not playing that well. I think yeah, you have to consider getting it off the board. But I don't know if I'd consider getting it off the board for in exchange for a Rakan.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like you like Morgana, but I don't think Morgana by any means is one of those supports where it's like, oh, we need to pick and ban this one because it's
Yeah.
insane. You just need to play around it with respect.
So then
It's definitely something they haven't prepared
Yeah.
for as well. Like, it's a unique niche pick, and it's done really well.
So if you're Direwolves, then do you try and take away the Caitlyn? Because obviously that bot lane is what collapsed it.
I know,
I-
I know King loves it.
Well, I have a different opinion to this because I don't think that any of the champions in that game, in that bot lane, won the game. I
Right.
think that the gank from Spooks, because we did note Spooks had a night and day game from game 1 to game 2.
Absolutely.
And he got stuffed on top, then he went bot and got the kill. And that kill bot lane just set the tone. Once you get Caitlyn ahead in that lane, it's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't necessarily the champions were bad. It was, yes, the jungler got them a lead in that lane, took the tower at 7 minutes, played bot side. And when Caitlyn can take your tower at 7 minutes, you can say goodbye to your top tower, say goodbye to your mid tower shortly after that.
The Rift Herald did wonders. That pick onto Fantix resulted them getting 2 mid towers, and I think that was like a 4K gold lead at 15 minutes or something ridiculous.
Yeah, so not even a kill participation there for King, which is really strange to see when you're playing Ashe because you can pretty much just cross map, get
I
an
don't
assist.
think they got a single kill that game.
Didn't they?
I don't think.
Oh,
I don't
there
think
you
they
go.
got a single kill that game.
See, I'm curious about the Caitlyn pick. Now, I've spoken to Coach Jish about this, but I have a feeling with Caitlyn's range, what you're doing there when you pick it so early on in the pick ban is you're trying to ward out the Kog'Maw pick that they want to play, right? Because you can just if you can outrange Kog'Maw that much, you just kill him like 7 times.
So the reasoning I think behind why Caitlyn is not as popular because of the nerfs is that so when you picked Caitlyn, even if the early game you didn't take their towers, you just sat in your lane and
Yeah.
farmed. You always had like that Caitlyn win condition because of it because her base attack speed was always like that extra Phantom Dancer or
Yeah.
whatever it was. So you could always hit those extra headshots. They took away like pretty much that Phantom Dancer and like now it's not like okay we have Caitlyn win condition. You actually have to do stuff and play well. No, like
Yeah,
you can't
yeah,
you
it's
can't
true.
just wait
Caitlyn
to
can't
say
fall behind.
Yeah.
You
If
can't just
Caitlyn
say
falls-
we've got Caitlyn, it's fine, 3 items, it's
Yeah.
all good because like no, you've
Yeah.
probably lost the game now because she doesn't have that.
Caitlyn probably has the largest, probably the worst mid game out of all AD
Yeah,
carries.
it's the trough.
And she has a crazy good late game when she gets 5-6 items, but that's where like Tristana and these other AD carries really shine.
All right, well, let's take a look at the possibilities that are hedging on this third game. If Chiefs are able to win 2-1, They will come second and place themselves in the third round of the gauntlet. Sin or Avant will have to fight their way through Legacy and then face the Chiefs. Or Legacy will do that as well. If Direwolves win 2-1, the Chiefs go to third. Sin or Avant will have to face Chiefs, who will then, the winner of that, go on to Legacy. So still everything to play for the Chiefs, and Direwolves probably hoping to mentally reset after that second game.
I mean, Direwolves are in a position where, like,
They decide.
yeah, they
decide who they wanna
ultimately
verse.
decide who they want to verse. And I mean, I know
Well, no,
Direwolves.
not really,
they
because-
don't really care who they verse.
No, because they get to decide like who's going to be playing.
Yes,
you know,
yes,
yeah.
that's what we mean.
Yeah, like so.
Yeah.
So I guess the theory behind what Choosey's saying is that so Sin and AV, obviously that's going to happen.
Yeah.
The winner's going to verse
Chiefs or
Chiefs or Legacy, and I guess like the team. I guess if you're more afraid of a team,
Yeah,
like you'd
you
want
put-
them to be like.
yeah.
You want to play as many series
yeah,
as
many
you
series
can,
as
so you
possible.
want to put them down.
But in saying that, like in saying that, I
Sin's
don't
going to
think
run the gauntlet anyway, so it doesn't matter, right?
doesn't
Jibs?
matter. Like you may as well just cancel out the teams that are not in the grand final, because
Just see you guys directly
historically
in there.
you probably won't win.
I know
Yeah.
Direwolves don't want to lose this next game.
Absolutely.
Like, even though they've secured first seed, like, you don't want to have the final OPL game and the next game you play in the grand final is you lost the OPL
Yeah.
regular split to the Chiefs.
All right, well, let us now get into our third match of Direwolves versus Chiefs and check out some highlights from game number 2.
Raze is very low, gets the vulnerability, flashes forward, but Raze flashes out of the Gnar. Chippies is going to pay for that. Ace in the hole takes him down, and it's a disaster for the Direwolves.
They're in big trouble here.
Good binding, they try and lock down Shern and kill him through
Got him.
the ultimate of Destiny. Right before the sunglasses fell down, they get the pick. Now Jungler is dead for the Direwolf. Everything thrown as Shern fires way, and where did he go?
Shen, what are you doing?
Also, Ejim comes through with it, binding over the wall, not gonna be enough. Can Raze get their time?
Oh, he flashes on him.
for it, gets it. Fantix wants the brawl, not gonna happen, buddy. They lock down Fantix, he'll get
Big
double
taunt.
stun locked. Raze is solo killing Chippies. Fantix falls before Destiny's ultimate. King is stuck. Petrifying Gaze turns them to stone. Turret is going to fall. Raze is so healthy that he just slowly but surely chips away at the Nexus. No last stand from the Direwolves. There are too many minions in this space, and it's over. Game 2 is decisively in the Chiefs' favor.